If you read the board as you come in, you would know that we have an announcement that's important to most people. We have a quiz tomorrow. We haven't done a lot, so it's not going to be over anything crazy, but it will be over some vocab, notation, which we're going to go over today, and solving for x. It's not going to be super, super hard solving for x, but it is something you've got to know. Okay, so let's look at number 1 on this warm-up. This one's a little bit different than the days prior because you have a parentheses. So what do I do when I have a number in front of parentheses? Okay, so I'm going to distribute, which means I'm going to do what operation? Multiply, and I like to show that with these little arcs. You don't have to, but as long as you know, you're multiplying everything, right? So, 2 times x, 2x. Hopefully you know when you multiply a number or a coefficient and a variable, the letters, you stick together. Okay? 2 times 3, 6. Now sometimes I see people do this. You can't just have a floating number, right? So we're having a positive 6 means plus 6. And we bring down equals 4. And now this is just like yesterday's warm-up, a 2-step problem. What do I call the thing I get rid of first? The loaner. What's the loaner? On the left-hand side, the one that's by itself. So 2 and x are buddies, but 6 is the loaner. So to get rid of it, quote unquote, we're going to do the opposite. Opposite of plus 6, minus 6. We're going to bring down 2x, equal sign. And then 4 minus 6, it is negative 2. Some people put positive 2, but remember, when you subtract a bigger number, your answer is negative. So we've got to get better about adding and subtracting numbers, right? So 4 minus 6 is negative 2. Getting close to the end. One last step. What is this 2 right here called, right? Coefficient. How do you get rid of every coefficient? By the opposite, which is dividing. Okay? So coefficient, divide, right? So divide by 2. Now somebody told me earlier today that negative 2 divided by 2 is 0. What do y'all think? Okay. So it's not 0. When you have a fraction, same thing on top and bottom, it doesn't give you 0, it gives you 1. And in this case, we have a negative 2. So if you have a negative sign, it does not just go away. Keep that negative sign. So negative 1. Okay? That's it. So that was more of a 3-step problem, but it's alright. Now number 2, I'm looking at it. 2 things to get rid of. 2-step problem. Easy. Or is it? Let's find out. Okay, on number 2, what is the loaner? Negative 3. I'm going to do the opposite. Add 3, add 3, cancel that out. Okay, and when you bring down this right here, don't forget that negative sign. Negative 2x equals 5 plus 3. So, slow down for a second. Is everyone with me? I just did 1 step, I added 3. Now, so I'm going to hit the brakes a little bit. When some people, when they see this negative 2, x, and they think, what's the opposite of negative 2? Some people put plus 2. Okay? Now, if you did that, I understand why you thought that. Okay? Because you see a negative sign, and you think the opposite is the plus sign, right? But, here's the mega rule that transcends other rules. If that negative 2 is in front of an x, what do we call that again? Coefficient. What do you have to do for every coefficient? You have to divide. The opposite is dividing. Okay? So again, it's actually the same thing over right here. Okay? See that 2x? We divided by 2. Negative 2x, divide by negative 2. The exact same thing. So some people may have divided, but if you divide it by a regular 2, that's not right. Okay? You have to match exactly what's the coefficient. So divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2. Okay? Those negative 2's cancel out. And now x equals 8 divided by negative 2 is negative 4. Okay? That is a tricky one. Okay? Negative coefficients people want to add. But I'm telling you, negative coefficients you must divide by the negative number. Okay? I show you these things so that way you don't get goofed up later. You're ready. Okay, I want you to be ready. So that's it for the warm-up. Regular warm-up there. Let's move on to the notes. Now, everyone's pro at grabbing what they need on the way in, right? So you already grabbed this sheet. If you didn't, it's alright. You're going to get used to it. There's papers here, you want to grab them. So. Alright, so you should be looking at a sheet that looks like this. Alright, notation notes. We'll give you a second to make sure you got that on your desk. We're going to go through these notes and then we'll have an assignment. And just so you know, the assignment, when you get it, will be due tomorrow, but you'll probably be able to finish it today and be done with it. But if today's easy for you, then tomorrow's quiz will mostly be easy. Okay? Well, let's start on these notation notes. The first thing it says on number 1 is to name 3 points, and then off to the right, specifically, collinear points. So remind me, what does collinear mean? Okay, so points that are in a straight fashion, right? So they can either be on a line, or you could draw a straight line through them. So, can anyone tell me 3 points that are collinear? Yes. A, B, and C. Okay, coincidentally, alphabetical order, but it's because they're on the same line, right? So, collinear points. How do I notate points? Just one capital letter, okay? Easy. A, comma, B, and C. Now, if I asked you for 2 collinear points, what other options would we have? Did I hear DC? Yeah, DC is collinear. What else? DE is collinear. Okay. Is CE collinear? Yes. Only because collinear means you could draw a straight line through them. 2 points are always collinear, but in this case, the only 3 collinear points are ABC. Okay, is everyone good on that? Number 2. Now, I have a star here. I want you to draw a little star there off to the side. We need to make sure we know this, okay? So go ahead and draw yourself a little star. And we're going to make a little note to ourselves. You must write the endpoint first. You must write the endpoint first. I'll show you what I mean here in a second. So let's look at that first one. So, did you see the rays that I put in red over there? Those are the ones that we are going to do. So the top one, what is the endpoint? B, right? So you wouldn't say E. So B is the endpoint, and the other point on that ray is E. So we're going to write the 2 letters, BE. And then on top of it, what am I going to write? A ray. Okay? So I wouldn't call it a line unless it has 2 arrowheads. But we remember, rays have how many arrowheads? 1 arrowhead and 1 endpoint, right? So I'm going to put BE, make sure I got the right width. Okay, so BE, and then arrowhead on the right side. If you don't put the right thing on top of it, it's wrong. Okay? There's specific notation for rays and for segments and for lines, right? Now here's where people might mess up, but not y'all, because you're listening very intently. Okay? So look at this other ray. What's the endpoint of this ray? C. What do I have to write first? The endpoint. So I'm going to write C, and then I'm going to write D, and on top, I'm going to put a ray going to the right. I know in the picture it's going to the left, right? But here's the deal. If your ray was going straight up and down, or straight down, I don't want you to, the notation needs to be consistent. So you always put your ray going to the right, and you always put the end point first. So normally, what would you want to write? DC, with an arrowhead to the left. Okay? We're not trying to make this harder than it is, but there needs to be consistency. So end point first, arrowhead right. Or a ray, right? We'll get more practice in the back. Those are 2 rays. What about 3 line segments? What's a segment? Part of a line. The ends look like what? Arrowheads or no? Endpoints. Okay, 2 endpoints, no arrowheads. So, someone give me an example of a segment here. What? DC? So from D to C, like that. Sure. Okay. So that means I'm going to write DC, and on top of it, I'm going to put a segment. No arrowheads. Okay. What's another example of a segment? BE, I think I heard. E with the segment on top, because it's a segment. What else? AB. Of course, there's more than that, but those are 3 good segments as long as I put a segment with no arrowheads on top, right? Okay. That's the front side of your notes. You can flip it over. A few more things, and we're done with the notes. I'm going to change it on the back. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. On number 4, it tells us what it is. It's a what? Segment. Which means arrowheads or no? No arrowheads. And it gives me my 2 letters, right? So 2R. So 2R. Segment on top. That's it. What about 5? What is that thing called? Okay, 2 arrowheads is a line. So I'm going to put those 2 letters, W and Z, and on top, a line. 2 arrowheads. On number 6, what is that? Array. How do I know it's array? 1 arrowhead. I always have to start with the end point, which is D towards C. And then my ray always points to the right. Okay. 7. It is a segment. Put my 2 letters, my endpoints, H, K, and a segment on top. 8 tells us exactly what it is. It is a line. So I'm going to use those 2 letters, D-E, and on top I got to make sure it's my line. It's 2 arrowheads. Okay? Now, on number 9, this is going to be an extension on your own. It should take like a minute. You're going to make up your own problem, just like the front side. So on number 9, write your own question and then answer it. Okay? So remember, the front side said name 3 points or 2 lines or 1 ray, whatever. Make up a question like that and then answer it in that box at the bottom right where it says my answer. Okay? So again, if you want to start your sentence, name, and then how many of whatever you want to find, and you're going to do it. Okay? So you're going to do that real quick. You can be easy on yourself, that's fine. But I am going to pass out now your assignments. And the only kind of thing we want to make sure we notice on the assignment is that we hadn't gone over number 13, so you can skip it when you get to that one. Okay? So right now I'm passing out your assignment. It's due tomorrow if you don't finish it today.